Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to solve and graph inequations. We know that inequations are very similar to equations, except that equations have an equal sign. Inequations have an inequality sign. In this case here, we have y plus 5 greater than 7. So how do we solve an inequation like this one? Let's see how. We follow the same rules and the same process as normal equations. Except later on in the lesson, I'm going to show you one extra rule. But for now, it's exactly the same. Y plus 5 is greater than 7. We solve it like normal equations. Plus 5 is minus 5, and minus 5 on the other side. 5 minus 5 is gone. We're left with y. Y is greater than 7 take away 5 is 2. So our solution, y is greater than 2. We solved the inequation. We are also asked to graph it. How do we graph it? Simple. Greater than 2. So y is greater than 2. We draw a hollow circle because not equal to 2 is greater than 2. If it's greater, we have to show an arrow. The arrow is going to point which way? It's going to be pointing to the greater than. So we're going to point to the greater than side, to 3, 4, 5, all the way, and we show an arrow to show that it's continuous. So this is graphing the solution for y is greater than 2. Very easy. We draw the hollow circle to show that it's not 2, it doesn't equal to 2, but it's greater than 2. The arrow shows that it's greater. Let's do another one. 8x is greater than or equal to 48. Greater than or equal to 48. So what do we do here? Again, we are asked to solve and then graph. We're going to solve it simply by dividing by 8. And what we do to one side, we do to the other side. Divide by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1x is greater than or equal to 48 divided by 8 is 6. So x is greater than or equal to 6. Because it has the equal to as well, we have to draw a circle and we have to color it in. So we're saying x can be 6, but it is also greater than 6. So we show our arrow towards the greater side. So it can be 6 or more. That's why we color it in. We're saying it can be 6 or more than 6 as well. X is greater than or equal to 6. In this case here, y is greater than 2. So it's not 2, it's greater than 2. That's why we didn't color the circle in. While here, the equal to means we have to color it in. These are simple inequations. Let's do some more and we'll get the hang of it. Another example. Minus 5 plus x is less than or equal to negative 3. Again, in equations we solve them very similar to equations. Minus 5 becomes plus 5 and plus 5. We're left now with x by itself. X is less than or equal to minus 3 plus 5 is positive 2. So x is less than or equal to 2. We have just solved it. Now we're going to graph. Less than or equal to. So equal to, we have to color in our circle and it's going to be less than. So we're going to show the arrow going towards the less than side. So we're saying that x can be 2, but it can also be less than 2. It can be any number 2 or less. Next one, 2b over 6 is less than 10. Now again, we are working out using the same process as equations. Divide by 6. Now we're going to multiply by 6 on this side, multiply by 6 on this side. So we have 2b less than 10 times 6 is 60. We know that 2b over 6, we want to get rid of eliminate the denominator. Divide by 6 becomes times 6, so times 6 on one side, times 6 on the other side. They cancel each other out. You're left with 2b. 2b is less than 10 times 6 is 60. Now, 2 times b, we divide by 2 on one side and do it on the other side. We're left now with b is less than 60 divided by 2 is 30. So B is less than 30. So we show 30, there it is. It's less than, so it's circle. It's not equal to 30, it's less than 30. So we show a hollow circle and we show the arrow towards the less than side. So it is a number, B is a number that is less than 30. It's not 30, it is less than 30. This is basically how to solve an inequation and to actually graph it on the number line. Now we're going to do more complex inequations. Watch and you'll learn there is only one rule we need to introduce that is a little bit different from normal equations. Let's do them right now. Okay guys, before I show you the difference between inequations and equations, I would like to do two more examples to make sure that you know and you can see that equations and inequations are very similar. Let's understand and work through these two examples just to get the hang of using the inequality sign. Then after that, I'll show you the only difference. Let's see how to do these first. 3, open bracket, b plus 7 close bracket is less than or equal to 60. So this inequation involves grouping symbols. We know equations also involve grouping symbols. We solve it exactly the same way. Let's see. We basically first expand 3b, 3 times 7 is 21, less than or equal to 60. We expand. Then we simply solve it normally. Plus 21, minus 21 here, minus 21 there. Remember, I'm explaining it knowing that you already know how to solve equations, because this is it. 3b, 21 take away 21 is gone, less than or equal to 60, take away 21 is 39. Now 3b is 3 times b, divide by 3, divide by 3. b is less than or equal to 39 divided by 3 is simply 13. So b is less than or equal to 13. Everything is the same as equations, except we don't have an equal sign, we have an inequality sign. Let's do another one. 5, open bracket, x minus 4, close bracket, is greater than 55. Again, we expand. 5 times x, 5x. 5 times negative 4, negative 20 is greater than 55. Simple. Now, simple again, minus 20 becomes plus 20. We always do the opposite. Minus is plus. Plus 20 on this side as well. What we do to one side, we do to the other side. 5x is left because minus 20 plus 20 is gone. Greater than 55 plus 20, 75. So 5x is greater than 75. We know 5x is times x, so 5 times x divided by 5 here, divided by 5 there. X is greater than 15. X is greater than 15. So this is how to solve inequations. They are, again, similar to equations. Let's do now a couple more examples, introducing the only difference between inequations and equations. Let's do that now. Okay, the whole time I've been telling you that equations and equations are very similar, but there is a difference. I'm going to tell you about the difference now. The difference is, when we are solving inequations and we have to times or divide by a negative, we must reverse the sign. When we times or divide by a negative, we have to reverse the sign. That's the only time that equations and inequations are different. So let's see what we mean by reversing the sign. In this example, we have 6 take away 4x is greater than negative 2. We solve it normally, but we are looking for this rule. If we have to multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to reverse this sign. We have to flip it. Let's see how. 6 take away 4x is greater than negative 2. We would like to find x. And we know we have to eliminate the 6, we have to eliminate the negative 4. Which one do we start with first? I always like to start with the furthest number away from x, which is the 6. We always start with the furthest number away from the x. It's the 6, so we start with that first. It's a positive 6. Positive 6 becomes minus 6 and minus 6. So we have negative 4x greater than minus 2 minus 6 is minus 8. So far, so good. The rule says if we multiply or divide by a negative, we reverse the sign. Negative 4x means negative 4 times x. Now we've got to eliminate negative 4. There's a little times there. It becomes a divide by negative 4. And divide by negative 4. Now, the rule says when you multiply or divide by a negative, guess what? We are dividing by a negative. Whenever you can identify that, that's why I say always zoom in, always concentrate. When you multiply or divide by a negative, the sign will reverse. Let's see. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is just positive 1. So just basically 1x. Because we did that, whenever we multiply or divide by a negative, the sign will reverse. It was a greater than, it became a less than. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is 2. X is less than 2. When do we do that? We are multiplying or dividing by a negative. That is the only difference. Remember that. Always look. Am I multiplying or dividing by a negative? If I am, I must reverse the sign all the time. Let's do another example. Minus 5 divided by negative 3 is less than 20. Again, we're going to solve it as a normal inequation. 5x over negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Again, the rule says if we are multiplying or dividing by a negative, guess what? We are multiplying by a negative. So the sign will reverse. 5x, negative 3 times, divide by negative 3 and times negative 3, they just cancel. We're left with 5x. Because we multiplied by a negative, what do? We reverse the sign. 20 times negative 3, negative 60. 5x is greater than negative 60. Now times 5 is really divide by 5 and divide by 5. X is greater than negative 60 divided by 5. Negative 12. X is greater than negative 12. So you notice it was a less than, it ended up being a greater than. When do we reverse? When we multiply or divide by a negative number. In this case, we multiplied by a negative 3. So we reverse the sign straight away. It's exactly the same as equations, except for that rule. Whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, we reverse the sign. Always remember that.